In the studio now, Lawrence Wordon, he's the MD of PAG. Lawrence, before we get into the issues, what exactly does PAG do?
Afternoon, Jeff. PAG, we're the Professional Assignments Group. We're part of the Kelly Group, and we do recruitment. We specialize in three areas: accounting, engineering, and management. So, professional placements.
And you also recently opened a branch in London.
Yes, we have representation. We have a representative based in London.
And what's the feeling? I mean, clearly, anecdotally, that's where a lot of people are going when they do leave the country. Are there a lot of people in London looking to come back to South Africa?
Jeff, I think the whole aspect of the skills shortage is very topical at this stage. Yes, there are a lot of people leaving the country, and if one just takes a step back and examines why, one of the main reasons since 1994, in fact, that South African skills have become very marketable globally.
Why is that?
There are a lot of experienced people in the market. There are a lot of very well qualified people in the market, and we have a lot of qualified people entering the market. And I think South Africans are particularly attracted by some very good packages that are offered globally. And I think it's something new. If you look back the period 1994 till now, I mean it's like 14 years really. If you have a look at the opportunity for people to go and work elsewhere. Previous to that period, it was very difficult for South Africans to market themselves globally. So our skills are in demand.
From trying to get some idea of exactly the full scope of what is happening in terms of people leaving the country, people coming back, is there any easy statistic available in terms of the people leaving, why they're leaving, and that sort of thing?
No, look, this is very difficult to actually get hard stats on the subject. It's something that we research when we interview candidates, when we're talking to clients. We try and get an appreciation of the actual situation. There are some statistics. I know the universities are interested in this field. The Bureau of Race Relationships, they've just done a study on the flight of our skills outside of the country. But essentially, from our own experience, one of the trade shows that we attend is the well-known Homecoming Revolution. We participated in the UK the last 2 years. And one of the main reasons for being there is to get an appreciation for the South African candidates, particularly working in the UK. And I attended the one in October, and I must add, from our experience, there isn't an abundance or a queue of people lining up to come back. And we try to understand that, and one of the reasons is, generally economies are very strong at the moment. So there's good opportunities for people elsewhere, and there's no real reason at this stage for people to come back. They're earning good packages, particularly the London-based people are earning very good pound-based packages. We interviewed some people in Ireland as well. They on euro packages. So it's very difficult from a market-related salary point of view to match those salaries, to entice those people to come back.
How much of a differential is there between South African salary packages and offshore ones?
The gap is big. It's anywhere from 3 times to 5 times on average. So, for example, recently qualified graduates, people who've passed board exams and they're working in London in the accounting field or in banking, they can earn anywhere 60,000, 80,000 pounds per annum. That's very good money, and then you might argue with me that there's a cost of living factor. But in South African terms, for people to go there, if you just talk to the candidates, they have a lot more discretionary income that they have at home. So in their perceptive terms, they're a lot better off. They see it as part of wealth creation.
Lawrence, has there been an increase in people looking for jobs offshore, given the recent developments and problems that we've had, from the likes of the power to uncertainty about everything?
I think it is a concern, but I think it would be difficult to make any predictions at this stage. But what has been happening in the last 2 or 3 years is, if you have a look globally in terms of the growth projects, I'll give you, for example, what's happening in the UAE. lot publicized on what's going on in Dubai. A lot of the South African construction skills has moved to projects within the UAE. And there's a lot of construction work going on in that region. And those people get dollar-based packages. And there was big brand companies. And what happens is when they prove themselves in those markets, it's actually very difficult to bring them back, because they then become part of those companies and they go on to new projects from tenders. A lot of interest from South Africans to go and work in London from a package point of view. A lot of people have ancestral rights, so it's quite easy for them from an entry point of view to access those markets. But then, of course, Australia is very popular, New Zealand is very popular, and more so now, more recently, we're seeing quite a lot of people, particularly on the IT side and management side, consulting side. America is becoming a lot more accessible.
Lawrence, if we look at the current state of what we need to do in South Africa, there's a 300 billion rand capex project for Eskom, Transnet's putting money into it, government's throwing money at infrastructure at the moment. There are clearly not enough skills. How many skills do we need, and are they coming back? Where are we getting them from?
Well, the thing that we always try and advise our candidates and our clients on, there's some things within your control, corporate control, that we can do. And of course, I know governments are trying to focus on the actual reason for the skills deficit. The whole education system at the moment is under review, and it does begin with education. And the statistics that are being published, for example, is at the moment, I saw a recent one where less than half the people that started school 12 years ago actually matriculated and things like that. And those are the real macro issues that we as South Africans have to find a solution for. But from our point of view in corporate, and particularly in recruitment, what we're more interested in is the people that are leaving the institution, the education institutions, the universities with qualifications. That's really your feedstock. And those numbers are also not keeping up with demand. So from a business point of view, what do you do if your business is growing and you require those technical skills? I think there's two things. First of all, the thing that we've got to do as employers in South Africa, yes, we've got legislation requirements that we have to meet and you have to subscribe to. But the other thing is, from a succession planning point of view, you must make sure that your experienced employees and that their packages are market related, so that they won't be attracted to look for other opportunities. You've got to have a look, are they satisfied with in terms of the current working environment. You've got to develop your people with potential so that they get their necessary experience, so that you can promote them to opportunities within the business. But then from a South African point of view, we still won't be able to keep up with the skills demand through all these great initiatives. We've got to become more receptive to bringing in talent from overseas. Now that requires a couple of things. First of all, corporate, in conjunction with government, have got to make the bureaucracy a little easier. It's very difficult to bring expatriates into this market. So we've got to make it more expatriate friendly and attractive. And then, of course, from a package point of view, we as employers have to be a little bit more realistic in terms of the global market rate that's being paid. And essentially, we are competing for those skills, those international skills, with the UK, Australia, Canada, the UAE.
Lawrence, if we go back to some of the reasons for people leaving, is there much of a race element to it? Is affirmative action something perceptually that is causing people to leave?
When we interview our candidates that are leaving, and particularly the ones that I've met in the UK, they're all very well informed about the local situation. Many of them have worked in the market, have family, read the news. One of the main areas that people have left is, a lot of people say it's very difficult for them to see a future for them from a career point of view. And I think we need to listen to that as employers and in corporate and say, well, any employee that is worth their bit, you can't do that to them. You've got to make sure that they believe that there's a future, there's opportunity for them. So I think a couple of things we need to do. I think we've misunderstood the requirements of labour legislation. We've misunderstood the opportunity in terms of skills transfer. So yes, from a corporate point of view, I think we need to go and re-examine these things. I think there's so many different definitions and appreciations of what mentorship means in terms of skill transfer. And these are real strategic issues which I believe business, government, and other interested parties and associations should be workshopping so that we can work our way out of this predicament. The skill shortage is very real, and it's not going to go away.
We'll have to leave it there. Lawrence Wordon is the MD of PAG, and that's all from Power Lunch in association with MoneyWeb. We're crossing now to CNBC Europe for Power Lunch Europe with Louisa Boyson. CNBC Africa back at 4 p.m. Central African Time with regional updates.